You have reached your 7th month of pregnancy and also the beginning of the first week of the 3rd and last trimester. I have news to tell you about your baby. There is a video of the baby feeding tips and a very important tip for this week. You know what? Stay with me and I'll find you. Hello, I'm Monica Romero. I'm very happy to have you here with me. Welcome to the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It is a trimester that has a lot of expectation, a lot of anxiety and a weight. Girl, this belly is starting to get heavy, and due to the uterine enlargement, we also feel some symptoms such as shortness of breath. The lung can no longer expand as much. We also feel tired, lazy, lethargic. And then, when the baby is close to being born, some mothers have a huge need to go out cleaning everything and tidying the room and doing everything. The next day you can find out you have a baby coming. Isn't that great? And let me tell you first, start telling about this belly. Look at the big belly. Look what a difference your uterus is already. It can be felt more or less 8 centimeters above the navel there at the end of the rib, which can already start to disturb your lung to expand so much now to breathe. So we can have shorter breathing, which makes us a little more panting. I'm finding an ezinho like that quickly, you know. It's normal to happen now, and it will increase all this during this 3rd quarter. And this breathing only gives relief when the baby fits in, when the head fits in, baby comes down, then we breathe again, and soon there's a conversation going on. But calm down. It is not yet at the moment, and one of the factors that end up weighing a lot in the 3rd trimester are psychological factors. And how are we going to start now in week 27, our 3rd trimester? I already want to talk to you and tell here in the comments how you are. You are already having insomnia, you are sleeping. Suddenly in the middle of the night, you wake up with many thoughts, or you can't even sleep because there are many thoughts even. We keep thinking about what he needs to buy, what is missing, what will my job be like, and will I be able to work? What day will you be born? Will I be able to handle it? Is it that hard? How do you clean the baby's navel? And breastfeeding, will I succeed? What a fear of childbirth. Wow, so much on my mind. I know I'm laughing because everyone goes through it, and that's where my tip comes in. All pregnant women who are going through this same moment as you are, with the same pain, not only physical pain, but emotional. Talk to these mothers. Look for these mothers for you to talk to. Look for groups in which you can be. Sharing your experience. Be careful with those more toxic groups. You know, they end up bringing a lot of heavy reports, because this will also affect you. See? Emotionally, we are still super sensitive, but look for people to talk to, friends who are pregnant or who recently had children, to share this experience. And one thing that helps a lot is whenever you have to go to bed, take a notepad, a pen. All the doubts that appear when you are lying down, or thoughts, whether they are confused or not, write down on this little piece of paper. When we move on to paper, part of them leaves our head and brings relaxation or brings tranquility, because you know that you will be able to consult this the next day, research better. I assure you, there is plenty of video here in the almanac to help you. If not, put to me in the comment that is missing, that I produce a video with your inspiration. It happens a lot. Most of the videos here are for inspiration. From questions you send me, I'm here to help you too, and tell me how you are, and if necessary, seek professional help. Sometimes we can't even deal with all the mental messes that are going on, with all these doubts and insecurities and questions that appear to us, and professional help can guide our thinking to more positive sides, and we will be very happy. Pregnancy is not a disease, but requires special care. And this care is both emotional for the mother, so that she is well, and also physical. And one of the emotional things that I think is really important to tell you, and I'm going to leave a video linked here for you, is that pregnancy stress is unfortunately linked to premature births. Scares? No. So for example, Yeah, did you see something fall, or did you see a cockroach fly on your head? This will not seek. It will not cause a premature birth. This is myth. But prolonged stress can give low weight in the baby, just as it can also cause premature birth. When we go through very strong stress, for example, a car crash, wow, we stay there anxious, suffering. It is normal for the baby to be a little quieter. He will move a little less, but then he comes back, and until then everything is fine, because our life on this side of the uterus is like that. We experience fear, stress, worry, joy, agitation. We go through all this, and your baby going through it together with you is a learning experience, so it's okay. But prolonged stress, prolonged depression, that can affect your baby more, okay? So you have to take this care and take my tips for the week. Then I'll give you a tip about stress, okay? And one thing that is important for me to tell you, especially here in our Brazil zone, is that the sidewalks are not very cool, right, city halls? It's for you to take more care when you walk, take more care of the shoes you're wearing, forget about the heel, for now, at most, just a little to help the spine. These slippers that are loose also cause more falls, so be more careful where you are walking, where you are stepping, and the right shoes, a sneaker saves lives. See, it helps a lot and also doesn't let us have so much impact on the spine when walking that it will end up causing less pain. So be more careful, okay? When you get up, when you go down, when you go up, and if you're going to grab something underneath Vicks, it's difficult, right? Even if it's picking up a pen that we dropped, how we suffer to lower and raise it. It's not easy. I'm already remembering here, it's even getting lazy. So please ask for help. Ask for the person who is there near you. Please ask for this pen from me. You can ask, enjoy. Remember I said that you were in the Select Pregnant Women's Club, has an end date? In a little while your baby is born. You get out of it while you're in it. Enjoy the good part, because the bad part already comes without us asking, right? Which are the guesses. Now enjoy the good part. Ask for help from the guys there. And one thing that tends to increase is sweat. There was an increase in blood flow. Your lungs weren't expanding. So you came out with those shorter breaths. It's making it difficult sometimes to go up a flight of stairs to do an exercise, but the sweat is there, right? And it happens mostly under the armpits, under the breasts, on the feet, I believe, if you will, in the thigh space. Now the thighs are closer together, but also tighter due to the fat which we accumulate during this period of fluid retention from the increased blood volume. So we end up sweating more in these regions. Try to wear cotton clothes. It helps a lot. If you want a fan, an air conditioner, you have that right, because the heat we feel is not. Then you have that right too. And if by chance you don't want much ice cream, the popsicle goes in homemade ice cream that you can make yourself. You can beat a fruit with water to make it lighter, so you can drink more. Beat a fruit there with water and freeze it. You can freeze it in those little ice cubes and put a stick, a broken ice cream stick. Put the ice cream stick, freeze it in the refrigerator every time you're very thirsty, very hot. Is it cold? It's refreshing, it's delicious, and it will be very healthy, much healthier than those we can find on the market, because they have other ingredients to be able to maintain, right, in order to preserve these products. So making a homemade, obviously, ball show, including some that you have some molds that sell. There are those of lollipops, right, which is the ice cream. There are popsicles. Invest in it, especially because after pregnancy, when your baby is bigger, you still make it for him. You will make the pétolé, which is with breast milk, freezes a little to give to the baby. On a very hot day, you can make a fruit ice cream when you start feeding. That's the long-term investment, and I have it and I love it. The second thing about you is that we have the most sensitive bellies, right? It hurts more to the touch. But have you ever noticed that every time a movement comes, pushes our hand? It goes to the belly. We already begin to protect our belly. Our baby is an instinctive movement of protection, even ours. And this movement will continue until the end of the pregnancy. And then with the baby, you will realize that you are with the baby in your lap, began to have a movement, something. We put our hand on the little head and move away. Walking away is always the safest part, right? From this process, began to see a little turmoil. A lot of children sometimes running can bump into, protects belly, protects the baby. And this protection will be our role for many, many years. And finally, seriously, let's talk about preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a serious risk condition in pregnancy. It has a higher risk of happening from the 20th week, but in the 27th week, this risk is increased. She's like a problem of circulation in the placenta. What exactly causes it? We don't know yet. There are no studies that can indicate 100% why it happens, but there are risk groups that have a greater chance of this happening, which are people who have chronic kidney problems, who have a family history, first pregnancy, in vitro fertilization, and over 40 years of age, which does not mean that a person who got pregnant naturally with a family that never had a history, who is 20 years old, will not have it. She might have it too, but she's at increased risk for those cases I've been telling you. So I'm going to ask you to be very attentive to the symptoms. We can monitor preeclampsia when it progresses to eclampsia. Then it's a much greater risk for mother. Okay, so what are the symptoms that we have to pay close attention to? Blurred vision, protein in the urine, right? This is a little harder to see, but it's a change in the urine. It is good for us to observe sudden swelling in our hands and face. A lot of headache, vomiting, nausea, very intense pain in the belly and breathing, which may become very wheezy. So any of these symptoms, especially sudden swelling, seek medical attention immediately, okay? That's why I say always have a list. What are the hospitals with obstetric care that are closest to your region? From where you will travel, also have to have this list close to home, your mother, your home. There is always this list so that you can be able to, if it occurs, right, if this occurs safely, if necessary. And this condition affects about 5% of pregnant women. That is, it is a common condition. Up to 5% is a high number. So it needs care because, as you can see, right, of the people you know, many may have had preeclampsia and everything went well. With proper monitoring, everything went well. And after such a difficult subject, I will amend, at best, let's relieve the attention here. Let's make this climate more enjoyable. Let's talk about your baby. Your puppy is already measuring 24 centimeters from head to butt, which gives more or less about 35 centimeters. With the little legs, we make an estimate that it is difficult to make this one against that of the little leg. They're all spread out, right? He's already weighing 1 kilo. It's a delicious bag of rice here. Imagine, take a bag of rice. Imagine your son is weighing this. This weight in your belly is still greater because you still have amniotic fluid. It also has the weight of the uterus that if it expanded, it's big, it doubled in size and weight compared to the 15th week. It seems like it was yesterday, or it seems like the 15th week was a long time ago. Tell me if you're feeling like time is passing too fast, too slow, or if you no longer have the slightest idea. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. I'm on that team. I don't know if it's going fast or slow. I'm lost. The best news is that from now on at week 27, your baby's chance of surviving without any sequelae is 85%. Even more relieved, huh? The surfactant liquid person to be produced there close to 20 weeks of pregnancy, it is still in little quantity and low quality. So if by chance the little baby is born now, maybe the doctor has to put a zoogenic surfactant in it, which would be an artificial surfactant, to be able to help your little baby breathe, because it's the surfactant liquid that allows the expansion and contraction of the lung alveoli to breathe on this side. Another novelty is that he already has about 3% body fat. Look what a marathon runner, he's still skinny. What if by chance he was born now and require a little more ICU time for? Because he still can't control his natural body temperature. With 3% fat, it's really hard. But inside the belly, this fat is just there. Oh, accumulating, increasing, so that he is born a delicious baby for us. If you are a mother of a boy now, his testicles have descended into the scrotal bag. Another novelty is that your eyes that are partially open, your retinas, that will help, right? To identify when it's light, when it's dark, they're practically formed. And he already has eyelashes to protect from these dirt that keeps falling on this side of the uterus, right? So he needs these eyelashes to help protect his little eyes over here. And despite your lung, you don't need to train with air, because inside the belly, the one who makes this exchange, the one who oxygenates the baby's blood, is the mother. He already practices primitive breathing movements. If you go to do an ultrasound for now, you will see that his little body already makes primitive breathing movements. Are you training to breathe here? Yes. And speaking of ultrasound, this is one of the best weeks to take that little 3D or 4D photo of the baby that we show his face, because soon he won't have any more space. And then the photo will come out with the hand in front. It will be all messy, and you can also catch your baby, but that's been some time, right? But if you're going to do an ultrasound for now, sucking your thumb and on my feeding tip, I'm not going to ask you to eat. I'm going to ask you to remove salt from your diet. Use as little salt as possible. It's a habit that we must acquire for the rest of our lives, and I did this during my pregnancy with Lucas. I cut the salt. Today, the food here at home is almost salt-free, a lot of seasoning, a lot of herbs, but little salt, because in addition to salt increasing fluid retention, it can worsen preeclampsia. For example, those who have preeclampsia are zero salt. There is no way to escape it. Furthermore, there is already a study that indicates that salt intake decreases life, right? The lifetime we have. So the more we reduce the salt, the better. And if we have this healthy habit in our home, we help our dwarf children get used to such salty food. And I already noticed this habit in my whole family. It started with me. My sister did it too. My sister did it too. My mother did it too. And we greatly reduced the amount of salt, and this made us healthier and with less fluid retention. This is very important. And remembering that one of the best ways to combat fluid retention is to drink water, right? On the contrary, no. The more water we drink, the less liquid we retain. It helps to circulate and eliminate everything there through pee. This exaggerated fluid retention that we have not only during pregnancy, but at any time of life or during half of the cycle also happens in PMS. It happens. So for the rest of life, these are healthy habits that we must acquire. My tip of the week is two tips. The first, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video about stress and the risk of stress, right? Premature birth or decreased baby weight. I'm going to ask you to evaluate what are the most stressful facts that may be making you nervous. These stressful facts are things that are prolonged. It's not just one thing. It could be, for example, a troubled relationship you have with a relative. It could be your job. Try to report, organize what is happening, and try to imagine. I know it's not an easy exercise, okay? But it is very necessary to imagine what you can do to improve. For example, your work is very interesting. Isn't it worth talking to the director of the company, or if you have a partner, talking to the person who works with you to try to make that job a little less loaded or difficult at the moment? At work, not bringing it home is a difficult exercise, but it can be very necessary for you so that you do not suffer due to stress. And my second tip, which is also super important, actually, very important, you have a car and don't start researching car seats, but it's not that car seat that just fits there. You stand there looking straight ahead. No, the high chair for drinking up to 1 year of age is reversed. In fact, there is already a study indicating that the ideal would be to use invertido up to 2 years of age, since it is often the child no longer fits, but the ideal, and the ideal does not. The law says it needs to be reversed. And it's not just because it's law, it's not because it's important to your baby. Not only because of sudden breaking or a crash, but to protect the baby's neck. Are you in maternity wards? A lot, not to say 100%, but it's 100%, okay? Do not let the baby out of the car if he is not in the car seat. Install the fixed seat. And do you know why I'm asking you to research it now? Because there are models in every way you can imagine, including some models that later you can turn and they increase and become booster. Booster is just that elevation accent. There are so many models that it is worth researching calmly, not buying in a hurry, you know? And then there should be a course on how to install these car seats, because people from heaven about 5 hours to install the first time. It's hard, yeah. I don't know how they don't make it easy. If your car has that ISOFIX system that fits, it helps a lot. But if it doesn't, no problem. You can install it safely, but it takes a lot of work. You can see it like a stroller. I had to have something to pack the stroller, put the stroller together, open the stroller, close the stroller. Oh, complicated stuff, see? But then we do it with baby on our lap. We do all this with a baby, a bag, and holding the child here on the other side so as not to run away. We manage to do all this because we end up getting used to it, adapting, and necessity makes us work miracles. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Congratulations on having arrived here in the third trimester of pregnancy. Congratulations to you and your baby, who is increasingly beautiful, stronger, almost ready to come here. Huge kiss for you. Don't forget to let me enjoy it for me. See you in the next video.